Yeah, g'day. This is Donkey Kong Land for the Nintendo Game Boy. It came out in 1995, which I mustn't have had it long after it came out, so I must have got it fairly recently after it came out. All my saves are gone, which is depressing. I don't know whether the Retron 5 just doesn't pick them up, or I think the battery has long since seen better days. That's in the cartridge. Which is a shame, but because I actually finished this game back in the day. So yeah, I've got quite a history with this game, and so be prepared because Granddad's going to tell you a story. So basically, there was this kid at school that didn't like me very much. I know, right? How can that be? I'm such a lovable person. Oh shit. Just kidding. But yeah, so basically, yeah, he was like a real weird kid. Like one day he'd be your friend, and next minute, like, he'll be like talking to you and stuff. Next minute, he's like wanting to kick your ass, and he's like bullying you and shit. So it's like really psychologically abusive. But this is school in the 90s. This is basically how it was. For me anyway. And so I yeah, I ended up getting a Game Boy for Christmas one year, Double Dragon, and then Super Mario Land 2 was my second game, and then I eventually got Donkey Kong Land. Anyway, around the time I got Donkey Kong Land, I was like real excited, and I took my Game Boy to school, and that kid was there, right? This guy is like a fucking psycho. Like one time, he bullied me. I can't remember what happened, but he basically tried to kick my ass and he got caught, and him and I both got detention, so we both got put in a classroom together, unsupervised. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? And so yeah, him and I were just in this room unsupervised, writing detentions on paper, right? This sounds like the competence of a school, of a yeah. So basically, yeah, institutionalized learning, huh? Basically, we're in this detention class together, and words were exchanged. I can't remember what they were, it's been so long ago, but yeah, he tried to kick my ass. He like grabbed me by the back of the shirt, and like there was this aisle of desks, and like I was swinging him into them. Oops. And I remember swinging him into them as I was trying to get away from him, because he was like grabbing on the back of my shirt, and managed to get away from him, found a roller skate on the floor, and I pick it up and I fucking hurl it at him, and just as well it missed because it would have fucked him up pretty bad. It was pretty close to his head. Anyway, that's the moment the teacher walked in, of course, to check up on us, and of course he tried to spin it that he was just innocently going on about his business while I just threw a roller skate at him for no reason. But yeah, anyway, it's like, sure, buddy. So anyway, the same kid, right? He, I was really excited. I brought my Game Boy to school, and I was like, yeah, I got this new game, Donkey Kong Land. It's like freaking sweet. And he's like, oh, you got Donkey Kong Land? Think you're good? Alright, hot shot. Basically, I'll give you a running race through the first level, and yeah, I was like, alright then, and I wasn't very confident because like he had played the game in and out, like, and like he must know it pretty well, right? And so I was like, I didn't think I was gonna win, but I did. And then he kicked my ass. Nah, just kidding. He didn't. For some reason, he didn't kick my ass, even though I beat him. So that was quite a cool memory. That was just like, oh fuck, that was a long way to get to that memory of Donkey Kong Land, but that's basically what I was trying to get at, is like, that's my history with the game. So yeah, that was fun. It was a good memory, sort of. Then there was when I went to intermediate, which is like a few years later. I was like, this was like late years, primary school or elementary school if you're American, I suppose. And yeah, so my intermediate years, Pokemon was all the rave back then. It was sort of like everyone had Pokemon Blue or Pokemon Red, and Pokemon Yellow had just came out. And so like I'd bring my Game Boy to school and I'd be like playing Donkey Kong Land, And of course, the color of the cartridge is like the exact same color as Pokemon Yellow. So, yeah, this kid came up to me and he's like, "Oh, you're playing Pokemon Yellow. What Pokemon have you got?" And blah 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 blah. And I turned my Game Boy around and he's like, "Oh, it's just Donkey Kong Land." I'm just like, "Yeah, so what? I like Donkey Kong Land." So yeah, that's just my memories of my history of this game. So yeah, I still can't believe I actually finished this back in the day on a handheld screen. Like, I mean, it's hard to see even playing it on a 50-inch screen, but because of the restricted field of view, you don't really see what's coming at you before it's too late. But that's just the Game Boy games, isn't it? Really, I guess the only game that had a better field of view would be Super Mario Land, the first one. But I really hate the physics in that game. um, but yeah, Mario, like, has this game held up? Does it hold up to today's standard of retro platformers and video games? I would say no. Only because there are better retro platformers out there, especially for the Game Boy. Like Super Mario Land 2, I'd rather play that than this, in all honesty. But that doesn't mean this is like a bad game. It's just, I feel like it's definitely like not one of the best. It's a pretty good length from memory. I mean, I guess if you like games that kick your ass every 5 seconds, it's probably like good for that. You could probably really get into that if you're one of those sort of people that enjoys that sort of thing. I do from time to time. Like, it's kind of like I got to be in the right mood. You know what I mean? If you're not in the right mood to play a game that's like beating your ass every 5 seconds, then it's just like I'm just gonna rage quit. You know, turn it off. But yeah, it's not bad. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm having fun. The music's cool. I love the music in this level, even though this level used to piss me off when I was young. Oh. Anyway, you can hear the music. You don't need to listen to my poor rendition of that music. What's up with the birds like shooting fire out their beaks? That's fucking weird. Okay. Yeah, the animation's pretty sweet too. Like, that's quite a cool little animation. Did they just take the sprites from Donkey Kong Country for the SNES and just kind of like, oh whoops, oh, this is going to be bad. Did they just take them from the SNES and then like simplify them with the Game Boy palette? Is that what's going on? I don't know, because it kind of looks like that. They look very pre-rendered. Some levels look better than others. Like, there's a snow level where it's like just a pixelated mess. But this one's not bad. It's like you can concentrate and see what, like, you can focus on what's most important. And I think that's quite a good lesson for level design as well. Because I found that when I was making games in Game Maker, I was like overcomplicating the backgrounds, and it's like the backgrounds aren't really important. Like, you're mainly wanting to draw attention and draw people's eyes to where you want them to be focusing if you're making a game. And so yeah, this is kind of like, it does a lot of things good, but it also does things that I kind of question. And if I get to that level, I'll show you. I don't like these snakes. There we go. I think I like playing as Diddy Kong the best in this level because his hitbox, I believe, like, this is just my illusion anyway, I believe that his hitbox is not as big as DK's, so it's kind of like you can kind of whisper around and not get as like destroyed. But yeah, yay, Kong! Alright. Hooray! So I got an explosive barrel. You can use that to blow up the rocks on the map. I think as the game progresses, it gets a lot, like, way harder. Naturally, as games do. But yeah, You think it's brutal now? It's like, yeah, this is the level here. So like, look at this. You can tell these are trees, right? But like, I don't know. It's just a bit too busy. Maybe they could have cut down a little bit, but I get it. I get it. They were trying to like wow us with the amount of shit that's on the screen. But it's just kind of like a pixelated mess. It's you can still see what's going on, I suppose. But they really tried to keep it as that Super Nintendo like feel, which is interesting. But yeah, this is I'll leave that there. What was your first Game Boy game? Did you play any of the original Game Boy games like this? Was that your first Game Boy? Or did you play like Game Boy Advance first or Game Boy Color? I remember when it went to color, I was like real excited because I'd never seen Game Boy Color before. I remember seeing Atari Lynx before I seen a Game Boy Color. That was like ahead of its time, that console. But anyway, yeah, and what was your first Game Boy game that you played? Just let me know in the comments section. I like replying to people and stuff. I try and reply to everybody. YouTube does their best to try and hide comments from me, but I always like try and respond when I can. Respond pretty quickly too. So yeah, thanks for watching. Oh, underwater levels, don't you just hate those? Especially in Donkey Kong games. Yeah. So yeah, this was my first Donkey Kong experience, and it was pretty cool. Right, thanks for watching everyone, and I'll catch yous in the next one. Bye!